What happened to it?
So I went to Michigan, painted my brother's garage, made a bunch of old, those
The layout is all different. Unmute. We have some action to report from our closed session. During our closed session, we had a motion by Diane Groups and a second by Dwayne Lee to approve the rejection of claim for damages against the Lancaster School District by Freddie Garcia. The vote was approved 4-0. We also had a motion by Keith Giles and a second by Dwayne Wing to approve the rejection of claim for damages against the Lancaster School District by Melanie Holmes, and that was also approved 4-0. With that, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Dr. Larry Freeze.
Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we would like to start with informational items. Registration report by Rebecca Cooksey, Assistant Superintendent of Innovation and Technology.
So usually I give you a report on enrollment, but we don't have anybody enrolled at the moment. What we have are people that are completing their registration. And every year, even if you're new to our district or returning, you have to complete a registration packet. So as of today, we have 10,539 students who have their registration up to date. That's out of the 13,038 who are expected to return. So that's 81% complete, which is really, really good. We still have 21 days to go before the start of school, and we've never been that far along this early, so that's great. We also have 650 kids attending summer school, and that program has been absolutely fabulous. They've got ocean explorers, cooking classes, art exploration, music, test flight pilot school, and sports. The kids are having a wonderful time. If you get a chance to go and visit those classrooms, they're at Sierra, Monte Vista, and El Dorado, and the kids are having a blast.
Thank you very much. I understand Lancaster High School has a record registration as well. So it looks like people are getting back to school. That's fantastic. Do we have any other informational items?
No other informational items.
Okay, that brings us to our presentations and reports. We have our early literacy student block grant report and update by Joshua Elementary. Welcome.
Good evening, hello, test. Okay. Good evening, board members. Good evening, Public here at Lancaster School District. My name is Lorraine Zapata. I'm principal at Joshua Elementary, and I have with me Jenny Johnson, who is our literacy coach, and we have something very special for all of you. We hope that you enjoy our report back on ELSB. As you know, last year we took our ELSB and implemented year one and a half of grant, I believe, and we have some really good things to share.
So our first year, just to kind of review real quick, we did a root cause analysis to decide what was the reason for lack of reading success with our students. And we found various reasons, and we decided to tackle them very small and succinctly at the beginning of the grant, and then kind of dole it out over the 3 years that we have. And what we found, though, as we dug a little deeper, was that we needed to be even more succinct with what those root causes were. And so last year, we focused on the bottom of the grant, and we really looked at what the actual root causes were.
One of the things that we found, because we had 17 brand new teachers with 0 to 2 years of experience, was that they didn't have a strong foundation in California state standards. So we developed a rubric on lesson planning, and then we had them meet every Monday once our district gave us Sports for Learning, which we want to thank you very much. Our 2nd through 5th grade had 80 minutes of planning every single Monday, and our K1 received planning on Tuesday and Wednesday. We had to break that up into 1 hour. Initially, I was teaching PE, but our lesson plans are succinct and aligned, and they have lesson progressions with them.
The next thing that we noticed was that, oh, thank you for tuning that up. It's so much different. The systems weren't there. Everybody kind of had their own system. Each grade level was doing it a little bit different. And when we would come back to report and kind of go through our PLC cycles and present data, everyone had their own way of showing it. And so we made very clear systems, how to collect data, how to keep it going, how to teach specific things in class, how to come back and talk to each other, and using various templates and Google Docs that everybody could collaborate on, and really just keep build the capacity on our staff, so that once everybody is working on it the same way and we can tweak it, then everyone will be able to kind of do it on their own.
So here you'll see a picture of our kindergarten phonemic awareness lesson. This is Haggerty, and this is succinct across our district. We do it all in under 15 minutes. We do not stop during a lesson, because what we're trying to do is connect the pathways in their brain so that they're not thinking about the letters and sounds that are coming up. You will also see in the second picture that is up on the right-hand side is our MTSS paras. Jenny worked extensively with our MTSS paras to ensure that they were doing the practice at home or the practice during school that they may not be able to get at home. This is a copy of 2nd grade PLC, their deltas, their pluses and their deltas of what they were able to get through and what they still need to work on. And that's just a sampling.
And one of the major things that we realized is that while everyone had a master schedule provided for them, each individual piece inside of their master schedule wasn't flowing. The pacing was different. One class may be spending 20 minutes on phonics instruction, while another class may be spending only 5 minutes or skipping it altogether. So we went through and just designed very succinctly what each grade level could handle. And of course, somebody in kindergarten would need to spend a lot more time on phonics, whereas somebody in 3rd grade shouldn't be spending a lot of time on phonics in their instruction, and that should be more of a tier 3 kind of action. And so we just went through and fine-tuned everything again during our PLC time with those teachers during the Sports for Learning time, and got everybody on the same page.
This is a sample of our master schedule and also the sample daily schedule, and that is the difference. And it's very succinct, it's very structured, and teachers know what we look for during the day.
And finally, all of our teachers, TK through 3rd, and our admin and the coaches all went through the Science of Reading training through Aura. that was provided by ELSB. And so everybody on our site has the science of reading under their belt. I would then went and had debrief meetings with the whole staff to what did you get out of it? Do you remember it? What are we going to do in our lessons? How are we going to change our instruction based on what you learned? And really help everybody understand and implement everything that was gone through.
And these are some of the results. And one of the things I would like to point to, we did really well in phonemic awareness, the third chart down. Our students really understood letters and sounds and how to hear them in words. If you notice, the phonics instruction, it did better, but it didn't reach the levels that we wanted it to reach. And so for this, what we found, we tried to do a crosswalk with second grade. It did not work for us. It was cumbersome to go through Houghton Mifflin and try to find all of those pieces. So we will be implementing SIPs with the rest of our district, with our rest of the elementary, the other grant that's going on as well. But we are so proud of our green. I'm just going to say, Jets, we are soaring. Okay, come on.
And finally, the only way that we could understand that data and see how our kids are growing is by having a comprehensive assessment system. And so we implemented Dibbles with Fidelity. We had a system for that as well. The assessment team assessed every student at the beginning. And then in the middle of the year, we trained the teachers, and the teachers plus the assessment team assessed all the students. And finally, the teachers were able to tackle it on their own with the assessment team coming in and helping support that. We went through the data cycle. Each teacher had goal setting with their own data and their students, and myself as the literacy coach. And they really just actually took on all of that data themselves and said, hey, I know this kid knows this. I know this kid knows this. This is what I have planned moving forward. And even the paraeducators then said, hey, I see that in them. And this is how I'm working with them to help develop those skills. And so our focus on data this year was truly a system that helped us get it off the ground.
This is Dibbles. And one of the things that we found with Dibbles is that we didn't figure out how to exclude students who were not here from the beginning of the year. So our district is also implementing a Dibbles assessment system for us. And so we're really excited about that so that we can really hone in to students that come in and out of our district.
And finally, student agency is always what the goal is. We want these students to really own this and want to have the literacy under their belts and not just say, oh, I know how to read, or I don't know how to read and I don't really know how to get there and I don't want to because it's too hard. And so the students built class learning goals and individual learning goals with their reading. They set Haggerty goals so that they would know where they were striving for in phonemic awareness, and their iReady goals as well. We implemented Capturing Kids' Hearts at our site. We are a national showcase school, and so that is always under our belts, and that helps the students to really have just that calm and that peace in the classroom to allow them to get to these hard times and to really be able to struggle and fall down and say, hey, I'm trying and I'm getting there, and eventually I'm going to be a reader. And so it was really awesome to have Capturing Kids' Hearts as well to help support those guys.
So we thank you for your time, and now we'll take questions. If you have any questions.
Great presentation. Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
You talked a little bit about smaller sizes of classes.
Smaller, what do you mean smaller classes?
One of the charts, or not chart, but one of the things showed that you dealt with some smaller classes.
We had regular size classes. We had small group instruction.
Small group instruction.
So, and our small group was really not reteaching a skill, but practicing the skills that our students needed to control. And so we were very specific about it based on data.
And this was all in by the same teacher?
It would have been by their MTSS para. Practicing was by the MTSS para. The small group instruction, when they're reteaching a particular standard, is done by the teacher.
Okay.
Did you work with the teachers or kindergarten through fourth grade teachers?
K through 3 primarily with ELA, but we also took in 4th and 5th grade, and we worked on academic vocab and comprehension. And we did see gains. I did not include that in this presentation, but we did see gains in comprehension because of the vocabulary work that we did. Our coaches took every bit of curriculum and pulled out all of the academic language, and it was embedded into their lesson plan so that teachers were teaching the vocab and front-loading the vocab prior to teaching the lessons.
It looks like some great gains, and it's neat to see all your staff on board. I know you approved, I believe, the core program, and I don't know if your teachers have gone through that yet. It's like okay, yeah.
That was Aura.
Okay.
It's core.
It's the Online Elementary Reading Academy.
Yeah.
It's the Online Elementary Reading Academy. CORE is the company that puts it on. They also partner with Pivot, who our district has worked with for a very long time. Everybody took that course. It's a college course, and they were nice enough to stretch it out throughout the year for us so that our teachers wouldn't have this overflow of information that they couldn't really contain. And so every month they would study one chapter, and then we would have online, pretty much like a regular college course online. And then we would meet as a site and go over what we learned and how we could implement it. And so, all of our teachers did that. And for the next TK3, and for the next 2 years, whomever comes to our site new will take that course as well, and those pieces were provided by the grant.
Good. Well, I saw that as we approved it, so I was glad to see that. So that's neat. You guys are implementing it. Great job. Keep up the great work. Super excited.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have public hearings for Lancaster School District to the California School Employees Association, chapter number 297. And we're going to open the hearing at 6:21.
Yes, Mr. TP. I'm just here tonight to share with you that we're looking forward to negotiating with CSEA. As you know, the process begins with sunshining, and tonight both the district and CSEA are sunshining. So we fully expect to begin negotiations in late August, early September. And this year we are doing cover to cover. So we've got quite a bit of work to do in terms of language. And then, of course, there's always the question around compensation. So we have great working relationships with CSEA, and we're looking forward to concluding that as efficiently as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments regarding CSEA? Okay. We're going to close that hearing at 6:22. And next we have a public hearing concerning the California Employees Association, Chapter 297, CSEA, to the Lancaster School District. We're going to open that at 6:22.
Not seeing any CSEA representatives coming forward. I know that they would echo the sentiments that I shared earlier, and I also suspect that they would tell you how much they know how we value their invaluable service to the students of the Lancaster School District. So they too, I'm sure, are looking forward to negotiating as well.
With that, there's no further comments. We will close at 6:23. And next we have individual action items, superintendent, adoption of resolution 2022-23.2, resolution regarding weekly COVID-19 testing of unvaccinated employees. We have a motion.
Second.
Moved by Diane Grooms, second by Keith Giles. Any discussion, comments? I know we had a chance to discuss this at our last meeting quite a bit. So with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next, we have item 12B, adoption of resolution 2022-23.3, board compensation on missed meetings for Sandra Price. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Grooms, second by Mr. Wynn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So we have 2 ayes and 2 nays. Motion does not pass. Next, we have 13A, individual action items business. Adoption of resolution number 2022-23-1, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Lancaster School District determining the amount of a special tax for fiscal year 2022-23 within Community Facilities District number 2004-1. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
By Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Wu. And any discussion?
Mr. TP, annually, the district has the ability to increase the tax rate on the CFD. This is a result of the original Proposition 13 that said property tax rates could not increase more than 2% per year. So this increase represents the authorized 2% per year that we're allowed to raise it. So the tax rate that we're currently charging is about 44.8 cents per square foot for each of those residents. The new tax rate will then go up to 45.7 cents per square foot. And this is just in the CFD, Community Facilities District.
And when will that go into effect if this is approved?
Ooh, great question. I think it's with the next time they have to pay their property tax bill, which is typically in the fall. So they would see that increase on that tax bill.
December.
Okay. So very minimal increase. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. So we have individual action item human resources. Item 14A, approval of principal
Michelle White.
Michelle White. We have a motion.
Moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Wynn, second by Mr. Giles. And any discussion?
We're really excited to present to the board for your consideration tonight the appointment of Principal Michelle White for Westwind Elementary School. She has served the past year as an assistant principal at Joshua Elementary School. Before coming to our district, she was an assistant principal in Saugus for 3 years and also served as a teacher for 17 years. She's well-versed and knowledgeable about district areas of focus and initiatives, and we are thrilled that we are bringing her tonight for your consideration.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations.
There she is. I didn't see you, Michelle. Thank you. She's been juggling all kinds of balls right now. She's not only been sort of acting at Westwind since it opened, but she's also been helping us run summer school. So, Michelle, hats off to you and congratulations. Do you have anybody here tonight you want to introduce us to? I'm going to ask that they all stand so maybe we could see them a little better, please. Congratulations, Michelle, and it's nice to see your family. We may see more of you than they, and I hope not. Congratulations.
Welcome and thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay, next we have item 14B, approval of assistant principal
Hillard Smith.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Grooms, second by Mr. Wayne. And do we have any discussion?
Yes, we're delighted to be able to present tonight for your consideration the appointment of Hillard Smith as an assistant principal in our district. He's served as an administrator for the past 18 years as an assistant principal, director of pupil personnel services, and director of secondary education principal for LACO. He has his master's in educational administration as well as in clinical psychology, and we think he's going to be a wonderful addition to our school district.
With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations.
Would please stand? And given there's nobody seated next to you, we just want to say congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you very much. Next, we have item 14C, approval of assistant principal.
Charlene Armstrong.
Do we have a motion? So moved.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Wayne. Any discussion?
Yes, so Charlene comes to our district with some administrative experience. She served as an assistant principal, dean, coordinator of PBIS for the last 4 years. Before that, she was a high school English teacher for 10 years. She has experience at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. She also has lots of experience working with at-promise students, and she has her B-clad authorization as well. We're thrilled to bring her tonight for your consideration.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations.
Charlene, welcome aboard. We're delighted to have you here, and we can't wait for you to get started. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have item 14D, approval of assistant principal.
Marcelo Palacios.
Do we have a motion?
So moved?
Second. Motion by Mr. Wayne, second by Mr. Giles.
What was the last name again?
Palacios.
Any discussion?
Yes, so if that name rings a bell, it should. Marcelo taught in our district from 1994 to 2007. I was honored to be his principal at Desert View and again at Amargosa Middle School. Wonderful person, excellent teacher. He left us to become an administrator in other places, Antelope Valley Learning Academy, where he's served for the last 15 years as assistant principal, and director of federal programs. He is desirous of coming back home, and as you know, we're always happy to have folks return, and we're thrilled that Marcelo is being presented tonight for your consideration.
With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
And I neglected to share that Marcelo is also bilingual in Spanish. So, Marcelo, please stand. Marcelo, 2 words for you. Welcome home.
Wonderful. And next we have item D. Looks like it.
I believe that was pulled.
I believe. Okay. Thank you. And so that concludes our.
One more. Or 2 more.
Oh, thank you. That's a change. Next, we have item F, approval of variable term waiver for the 2022-23 school year. Garcia Antonio and Romero Carla. Do we have a motion?
Moved?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Wynn, second by Mrs. Grooms. Any discussion?
So both these items are mechanisms that we use to authorize teachers to be in the classroom. It is our responsibility now to make sure that you vote on these as individual action items. So you will see this as becoming more common. So we're thrilled to be able to bring these teachers to you for your consideration and the assignments that we have for them.
And with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next, we have item G, approval of provisional internship permit for the 2022-23 school year for McClure Nicole and Roche Emily. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Giles, second by Mrs. Grooms. Any discussion?
Just again, this is the mechanism that we use to authorize them to serve as teachers in our classrooms.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations. All right. Welcome aboard, everyone. And we're going to take a short break. So if anyone needs to leave at this time, they can. And then we will conclude our meeting in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
To give all the new principals, assistant principals a chance to go out for ice cream. I'd join you if I could.
Gotta give Diane a chance to use the rest of
Doing all right?
Yeah, hopefully you're, I think she's done with that.
Is she?
Oh, yeah. I'm over this.
Yeah.
It's over with.
Yeah. You don't need those quick meetings.
Right? Used to fall down and jump back up.
It's breaking, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're older.
Mm-hmm. My wife's mom just broke both her arms.
Oh, how'd she do that?
She decided she wanted to go roller skating. So she fell down and now she's got a cast on both sides.
I was wondering,
Yeah.
because this is the first time we're going to be using this font.
Yeah.
Do you and you open that section for comments from the public.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to say anything about how the font is used? When we'll say 30 seconds, time expired. Make them aware so that
What do you prefer? I was thinking maybe just a minute notice when they have a minute left. That's what I was doing before.
yes.
I can. 30 seconds goes kind of quick. So,
1 minute.
because I think it's 3 minutes per person.
I'll just
So what I did is I let.
as of tonight. And we want to celebrate every design on Sunday. If there any endorsement. We have any. I know I don't allow. But that's okay. Yeah. If you guys how much you they covered everything. I guess I'm like
Well, 3 minutes each, that's 21 minutes. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to reconvene our meeting. Everyone can get seated. And we're going to be on to addressing the board. Board members will be utilizing electronic devices during the meeting to access the online agenda. An electronic device may be used to record this meeting. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and any supporting documents to the deputy superintendent. Individuals participating remotely who wish to speak must have a completed and approved online registration for public comments no later than 5:00 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Personal information such as a student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as defined in Ed Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. The board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed, according to board bylaws 9322. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted agenda for the Brown Act. Okay, we're going to start with comments from PTA, CSEA, Cal. Okay, comments from the audience.
Okay, we have our first speaker card for Andy Gladfelter, who's going to come on up.
Well, good evening. I'd like to thank Mr. Wynn for asking me to say a few words regarding the recent passing of Mrs. Irma Fulton, the wife of our school's namesake, United States Air Force and NASA test pilot Lieutenant Colonel Fitz Fulton. Mrs. Fulton turned 100 years old in April, and the whole family was together for that joyous celebration. And they were together again by her side when she passed away in May, just 1 month later. Irma's daughter Nancy was telling me that at the funeral how interesting it is that the family home on Challenger and J5, where they lived for decades, is less than a mile from the school, and that her parents are buried together at Joshua Memorial, just a mile and a half from the school. Back in 2016, Mrs. Fulton attended the grand opening of the Fulton and Alsbury Academy in person, along with some of her children and grandchildren. And every few months, I write a letter to the family, updating them about what's new at the school. And at the funeral, the family told me just how much they appreciate that the school honors Fitz's legacy. So to the board, I'd like to extend to you the family's appreciation. Now, the story of Fitz and Irma's first date is recounted in his autobiography, The Father of the Mother Plains. I'd like to briefly share that with you. Fitz had just reported to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson. He wrote, "I got my assignment to quarters and was told to go to the officers club to sign up for my monthly meal ticket. I did not realize that the meal ticket sign-up would change my life forever. I went to the cashier's window at the officers club, and there was an attractive brunette woman there who issued the meal tickets. She was friendly and very helpful in answering my questions. I guess I made excuses to ask her more questions. Finally got around to asking her if she'd like to go to a movie, and surprisingly, she said yes. That was my wife-to-be, Irma Beck. She gave me instructions on how to get to her house by the bus. The house was close to the base, so I elected to come by taxi. That embarrassed Irma because when I arrived, her aunt and several visitors were all sitting in the yard enjoying the warm weather. The worst embarrassment was that I had forgotten her name and had to get out a piece of paper to look it up. We laughed many times about the circumstances surrounding our first meeting and first date.
1 minute.
On our second date, I took her flying with me in a Piper Cub. She really enjoyed that, and I was very pleased. Needless to say, we had many more dates later. So I often run into people who knew the Fultons personally, and they talk about their humility and their service. And they serve as great examples of the school's core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Betsy Hassel.
Good evening, school. Do they hear me? It's not okay. Good evening, school board. I'm speaking on these not getting your employees vaccinated, tested. I didn't expect to be called up first. When this whole thing arose, a couple things that they said would be the best for dealing with COVID is sunshine and heat. We have had plenty of that lately. Another thing is all this fear that's being brought about. Most everybody got here by some sort of automobile, motor vehicle. You ought to be more afraid of getting in your automobile on a daily basis. I wish the traffic collisions would be recorded as thoroughly as this COVID nonsense. I've heard more and more people getting deathly ill from the vaccinations than they are from the COVID itself if they got it. And if they got it, they generally get over it fairly quickly. But yeah, you should be more afraid of getting your automobile on a daily basis. I was a commercial driver and I was amazed at what I saw because I kept driving the same areas, and I used to bicycle somewhat frequently when my car would be broken down, and that was my form of transportation. And coming through the same intersections maybe an hour later or a few hours later and seeing that something happened in between or I just missed it, but it's not being recorded. It should be. You would be less fearful of this COVID pandemic. And the governor has no business telling us from a medical viewpoint. From what I've heard, he didn't even have his own children vaccinated, and he was sending them out of state to private school to not deal with the nonsense from this state, which he's a governor. So please do not support this discriminatory testing unvaccinated employees. It's none of your business. It's a HIPAA violation. Their health is not your concern. Get back to the basics of education, reading, writing, and arithmetic. All these studies are nonsense. I'm tired of, I was in an experimental stage when I was in fifth grade. I was the third year of 4 years of the school district where I was growing up, deciding to experiment. And now when I look back, I am very unhappy with the education, with the experimenting the educators do. When I see these people that are into classical education and some very good homeschooling, I feel very cheated by my public school system education. I could have gone on to do a lot more things if I had been encouraged.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker card is for Mickey Martinez.
Thank you. Okay. One of my favorite things to do as a teacher is on the first day, look at my class and say, my name is Mickey Martinez. My name is Miss Martinez, and I'm so happy to see your smiling faces. I didn't get to do that last year, but I'm so happy to see your smiling faces today, and I'm hopeful for this year for it to be a better start. I'll get to do that again, and that's great. Okay, I did have to redo my speech a little because I was expecting to speak right before you voted. So I do have to say thank you for voting 4-0 to pass the resolution. To my understanding, it's agreeing that you're going to send a letter to the governor who stating that we don't want to do this weekly testing anymore. So I do appreciate that. I think we need to do better though and get rid of
Also to the Board of Supervisors.
thank you. Also to the Board of Supervisors. So I do appreciate that and that no personal biases got in the way. So thank you. I just wanted to remind you that, we can do away with it now because it is discriminatory. It's going off of opinions that, people should be tested. It's not going off facts because the facts are facts, and facts are that vaccinated or unvaccinated can still get and pass on COVID. So it is going off of opinions, and I would hope you would respect us employees enough to think about that. Something else just to consider and keep in mind is, we come back, board meeting after board meeting, with the same cause. Our opinions haven't wavered. Our beliefs haven't wavered. And you're hearing from us, unless you do take the time to poll the entire district to get their opinions, you kind of got to go with what you're hearing. And so thank you for taking into consideration what we have been speaking about. If we don't push back against these mandates, just a reminder, it starts with us, the educators, all the staff that are, having to deal with these tyrannical testing, but it's going to trickle down to the kids. And I know these parents, I know you parents don't want your kids tested weekly, because I will tell you how it feels. It feels horrible. I feel like vermin. And I love your students, and I don't want them to feel that way. So we need to stop it now. So please take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next speaker card is Jaylene Davidson. Sorry. Jaylene Davidson.
Hello, board, once again. Tonight, I'm hoping to bring in 2022 and 2023 with us standing behind this board, with this board doing the right thing. And although I appreciate what you did tonight, sending it to the governor, I'm also praying that if the governor says no, or if the board says no, that you're going to step up even further, because it's the right thing to do. By your own bylaws, you do not discriminate. By your own local mayor, who supposedly is vaccinated and has every single booster shot and put in the paper that he had COVID this Sunday, we know that that doesn't stop it. So if you're not going to test the unvaccinated, then you shouldn't test the vaccine. Then you need to test the vaccinated. Because they still can get it, they still can spread it. Your bylaws say you don't discriminate. I'm really hoping this year that we'll actually be able to back you, because you will concentrate on protecting the children, doing what's right for them, doing what's right for the teachers, that we will take them as a whole and not put them in divided groups, and encourage them as children, because each and every child, no matter race, creed, or sex, is a gift from God. And we need to treat them as that, as one whole. We don't look forward to coming here and fighting with you all the time. Trust me, there is enough evil out there to fight. We don't need to have to come here and fight it. We would rather support you for doing what's right, not overstepping, working with parents, and to be the parents, okay, than to have to come here and say, why are you doing this? We're not going to let this happen. We're going to fight you every step of the way. And again, I am going to remind you, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men and women to do absolutely nothing. Friend or foe, that really is your decision. And I really hope that you choose to make us friends and not foes. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.
Okay, Mario Presence.
I want to say that your testing doesn't go far enough. COVID is so serious today that I've decided to turn my vaccine passport into a QR code, because everyone should know that I'm vaccinated. All vaccinated people need to stick together, because we need to test everyone, not just the unvaccinated. Medical testing doesn't go far enough, because as employees of the district, these teachers and staff belong to the district. These mind and body. The district needs to immediately request and maintain full medical records on everyone who comes in contact with your children. I was a student at Quartz Hill High School and fantasized about my teachers like Larry Freeze, and if I caught an STI from him, I would simply tell my parents that I got it from a toilet seat. Being immigrants from another country, they barely passed high school and would have totally believed me. Sex with students happens, right? Teachers who have cancer, bulimia, diabetes, or even, I don't know, any other medical condition, they take days off and the district loses money. Don't they realize that the Board of Supervisors and Trustees is like a king who can suspend them for just about anything? Medical time off is no excuse. Like the Germans, we need to make the lives of the unvaccinated and those not willing to submit their soul to the district as difficult as possible. There is no room for choice because teachers who take too many medical days off put our children in danger. Our students need stability because they don't have it at home, and through enrollment and funding, you can take possession of their minds. If a student has a reaction to the vaccine, we'll pay off their parents with unspent COVID money because the experiment is more important. Cardiac arrest in teens is totally normal, and we need pharmaceutical companies to partner with schools like you guys and districts for blood thinners and artery dilators for kids. Test everyone 5 days a week, please, and keep a file of your SERF's medical records. Good dog breeders transfer medical information to new owners, and districts should too. We can't let them escape.
The next speaker card is Christine Parkinson, sorry.
Good evening. I'm going to read an article, a press release from the LA County Chief Medical Officer. Two officials at one of the largest hospital systems in LA and Southern California dismissed government official statements about another wave of COVID hitting the region. They dismissed it as media hype. This flies in the face of LA County Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer's announcement on Thursday that Los Angeles has officially reached high level of COVID cases, and hospitalization rates, giving the county 2 weeks to fall back or below or else mandatory masking mandates will return. In a news conference on July 13th, Brad Spellberg, the Chief Medical Officer of LA County SC Medical Center, and epidemiologist Paul Holtum said that we have been no changes in the transmission levels of COVID. Our COVID situation is just the same. It has not changed, Spellberg said. He showed a graph and it says it plateaued. It has not gone down. Dr. Spellberg said that they're seeing thousands of people with COVID, but it is mild and they are going home. He said of the patients who are admitted to the hospital, SC Medical Center, 90% of the time it is not due to COVID. Only 10% of the COVID positive admissions are due to COVID. None of them go to the ICU, and when they do, it's not for pneumonia. They are not intubated. We have not seen that since last February. A lot of people are having really bad colds. That's what it is. It's just not the same pandemic that it was, despite all the media hype to the contrary. I mean, a lot of people have bad colds is what we're seeing, Spellberg added. So many people are testing at home and not reporting that in, epidemiologist Dr. Paul Holtum said. No one has any idea of how many are actually testing positive. So where did Barbara Ferrer get her numbers to justify indoor masking again? It was announced that LA County has finally broken through the 10 or more hospitalizations per 100,000 people threshold.
1 minute remaining.
Which, according to the CDC, means that we have to go back into the high community level. As of today, we have moved to the high medium community level, Ferrer said during the public briefing. It is if the county remains the CDC designated high levels, masks will be mandated. The two doctors dismissed Ferrer's claim, saying that the public health officer's assessments doesn't match the numbers. We're just seeing nobody with severe COVID symptoms, Holton said. As of this morning, we have no one in the hospital with pulmonary disease due to COVID. Nobody in the hospital. Nobody. Nobody who had COVID-19, as we see it in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last speaker card is Dawn Hartsey.
straight off the website from Lancaster School District. The Lancaster School District is committed to ensuring equal, fair, and meaningful access to employment and education services. The Lancaster School District does not discriminate in any employment practice, including genetic information or any other basis prohibited by the California state and federal non-discrimination laws. Yet the school board is breaking its own non-discrimination statement found on the website. These are: the UNRRA Civil Rights Act prohibits business in California against discrimination, including medical condition and genetic information. CalGENA, the California Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, September 2011. Genetic tests are prohibited as a basis for discrimination. Your DNA from a COVID test is now available in a public database. Penal Code 2052, violation of the PCR test is an emergency use authorization only and would subject board members to practice medicine without a license. Violation of the Nuremberg Code of 1947. Informed consent is meaningless without your right to refuse medical intervention. There's also violation of federal law, Title 21, USC 360 BBB of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. No one has the right to enforce EUA products. I count 5. Yes, 5. Violations of state and federal laws regarding testing. I'll repeat them. The UNRRA Civil Rights Act, CalGENA, the Nuremberg Code, Federal Law Title 21, and Penal Code 2052. I would urge the school board to stand up for your employees and stop this weekly testing. You can do more. Please stop this weekly testing. It's discriminatory, and as it states on your website, you do not discriminate against genetic information or any of those other items, medical information. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more, and that would be Mark Napolitano. Mark Napolitano.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you and appreciate the in-person meeting. They run much better than virtual meetings do. We have a local school district that's decided to go back to virtual, and I just think that's asinine. I'd like to thank you for passing the resolution as well. I would just like to state that in regards to the most likely disapproval of your resolution, we are here tonight in a small force. You have seen us all speak here frequently. I would like to encourage you to continue to combat the nonsensical mandates and remind you that we will appear in full force and join you in arms to fight against the Board of Supervisors, the county, the state, and the governor. We must stay strong and remember, united we stand and divided we fall. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. That concludes our public comments for tonight. Next, we are going to move on to consent agenda items, superintendent items 16A to 16E. And do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Wayne, second by Mrs. Grooms. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to make mention of the donation.
Lots of shoes.
$15,900 worth of shoes. New shoes. So our students, families, will have something to keep them warm this winter. It's a good thing, and I appreciate it.
Super cool. My son can probably go through 100 pairs in a week. He's rough on shoes, but it's a great donation.
Great to see that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motions carry 4-0. Yeah, I know I was upset when they closed that shoe place right next to Target. Yeah, that was the best place.
We were a frequent customer.
Take care of the whole family at once.
Yep. Okay, next we have item 17A to 17V, consent agenda items business. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. Wynn. Any discussion?
Well, I think the fact that we did get to go and see Joshua Library and Media Room.
That was awesome.
That was amazing. Thank you, Dr. Freeze, for taking us around and showing us that. But it's also good to see that we've had furniture now purchased for Lava. I'm sure the principals there will appreciate that. And the camera system at Endeavor, is that for the hallways?
Going to defer to Mrs. Cooksey on that one.
That's for the hallways, the outside campus, all the way out to the gate. That's 35 cameras. It covers the whole campus. It's a really nice system, and we're looking to put them at other middle schools this year.
Great.
That's great to hear. Yeah, especially in light of what's happened throughout our country. So that's fantastic. Any further discussion? Okay, with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motions carry 4-0. Next, we have items 18A to 18R. Consent agenda items, educational services. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Grooms, second by Mr. Wayne. Any discussion? There's a lot of items on this one.
It seems like we've done most of these before. Are they just renewals? Or am I just like...
No, you're correct. Most everything is an annual renewal.
Okay. It's like, I could have sworn we already did this. Time goes by pretty fast, so
I thought some of them looked familiar, definitely. With that, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motions carry 4-0. Okay, next we have items 19A to 19E, consent agenda items, human resources services. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Diane Groom, second by Keith Giles. Any discussion? Looks like we're expanding some language and services, so great to see that.
How are we doing on teachers? I see a lot of new hires here.
I'm sure Mike would be pleased to tell you that we're making progress, but we still have a number of open positions, particularly in the areas of secondary education, so single subject credentials, as well as special education. But Mike is working feverishly to get those filled.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motions carry 4-0. Next, we have item 20A to 20G, consent agenda items, innovation and technology services. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Keith Giles, second by Diane Grooms. And any discussion? I like the name Wi-Fi Hotshots. Yeah, they probably need to come to our house for sure. But
And that's not even hotspots. It's a PA system that's integrated with our VoIP system, so we'll connect our phones to the PA system
Yeah, I saw
at
that.
every school.
Yeah, my ears perked up, or when I saw that, my eyes perked up. But yeah, so it has nothing to do with the Wi-Fi at all.
okay, with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carry 4-0. Next, we have item 21, legislative and policy discussion. Any discussion on any of those items? Okay. That we'll move on to comments from the board and superintendent, and we'll start with at the end, Mrs. Grooms.
There it goes. Thank you. I appreciate our short meeting during the heat of summer so that we can get out of here in a fair amount of time. I am really gratified by the qualities of our new principal and assistant principals that we have coming on. They just sound incredibly talented and exactly what we need, and they look the part. They look like they're ready to go and take leadership in the schools. And I really appreciate their enthusiasm at this point. And frankly, appreciate everyone and their enthusiasm for school and being back in business. So thanks for all the good work on hiring our leaders.
Thank you, Diane. Keith?
Well, thank you for a nice meeting. I was expecting it to go longer, so my family's going to be shocked. I'm probably just can't go home. Joshua, thank you for the block grant update. Very, very, very cool. I don't know if they're still here. Yeah. Congratulations to all the new principals and assistant principals. Like Diane says, looks like we hit the jackpot there. Dr. Gladfelter, thank you for the tribute to Mrs. Fulton. That was very cool. I learned a little bit more about her. I got to get the book. That's probably a good read. Appreciate all our speakers. Glad everybody were able to pass that resolution, and we can pass that out there for everybody to chew on for all the people that need to see that. And with that, I'm glad that we're back, and welcome Dr. Mariotti for our new meeting, or for his first meeting. And with that, I'll pass it on.
Thank you. Keith? Mr. Wood?
Yeah, not too much tonight. The 10,539 registrations already out of 13,300 and some, or 81%. Outstanding. We are, we're going to hit 15,000 this year, I'm sure. We've had a couple of years that we fell under, but I think the students want to be back in school. I think from the open houses, I mean not the open houses, what was it? The back to school nights showed that people want to be on the campuses. And I don't want Lava to be our biggest school. I'd rather have it be any of our other 22 schools. So it's moving in the right direction. Rebecca, I think summer school 650, you said, is outstanding. That shows what the students, it goes back to that, what the students want. They want to be on campus. They want to be learning. They want to be having fun. And all in all, I think that the Lancaster School District, now under the new direction of Dr. Marietti, is doing the right things. We have excellent programs. We have excellent people. And we're on the right track. So thank you very much. And Joshua, well, I don't know if she's still here, but that was a very good postcard for the literacy improvement that's going on there. And it's good to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. And I'd like to just echo the sentiment from the board. It was great see the literacy program at Joshua. Hopefully we can kind of take that same model and implement it at our schools. If they're struggling with early reading, we want to make that one of our focuses this year, is building up our reading skills in the early levels, K through 3. So that's a great start to see that program at Joshua, and hats off to those teachers and principals, everybody who's implementing it. Also, it's great to hear the input from the public. I'd like to learn from the one teacher who said she's looking forward to seeing the smiles on her kids' faces, so that's exciting. And also, I'm glad we passed that resolution that we can send that message to the county and to the governor about not discriminating when it comes to testing. So I appreciate that. I'm glad we were able to do that. Also, summer school, great to see that going, and great start to our enrollments. Super excited about that. So I think people are starting to look forward to the new school year. So great to see all that talent coming in. Like Diane said, you could really feel the excitement, and they're ready to go. So that was great to see. We'd also like to welcome Dr. Mary Ray for his first meeting, and take it from here.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees and the leadership and the staff, Lancaster School District. I have received a very warm and supportive welcome on my arrival here. I've enjoyed getting to know everyone in the district, and every time I meet a new person, every time I come across another person, I am amazed at how competent, how effective, how knowledgeable these individuals are about the work we're doing in the service of students. So I have been really very impressed by the team that you have built here in Lancaster. I look forward to carrying out the work that's already begun, and the great things that we're doing. And I just want to be able to contribute and do my part to support the great work that's going on here in Lancaster. And I've gotten to know the executive cabinet a little bit more than anybody else over the course of the last couple of weeks, and I know that building those relationships have been very enjoyable for me. And there are great assistant superintendents, deputy superintendents. So you guys are wonderful, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your organization.
Thank you very much. We don't have anything else to cover in closed session, but we would like to close our meeting in memory of Mrs. Fulton and Carolyn Milok as well. So we'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of them, and just appreciate all their contributions. With that, we're going to adjourn at 7:21. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Nguyen and second by Mr. Giles. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Great evening, everyone.
All right.